This week on Not Another Shooting Show.
Nothing compares to the pinnacle of a double-stack 1911. As long as they're running.
It was civilians with guns doing shit. No, it wasn't.
Have we ever fought on the same side as the Germans?
I lost the people I don't like to lose to.
Wait, where does my thigh end?
And what is thigh?
He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is Not Another Shooting Show. We go, Jeff, to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where
In Metro to the left,
What?
like Bugs Bunny. I got to Albuquerque and I took a left.
A Metropolitan Detention Center corrections officer was injured after he was shot in the foot. There's really an A-B question here. Did he do it himself, or was it a SIG P320?
I'm gonna go with SIG P320.
No, he just did it himself.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, no, we can't blame SIG for this one. The officer was injured and accidentally shot himself in the foot. The county officials say it happened at the exterior security checkpoint at 12:30 p.m. last Friday. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. The sheriff's office responded to the scene. Normal security operations resumed. This is basically like the county jail, where it happened. So, corrections officer, pew.
So he was probably walking out for the night and being like, "Yep, my gun's clear," and pointed at his foot. And
yep, it's all clear.
Himself.
Or he's putting it back, like, I don't know where they, if they're, because some places you put it in and take it out as you're leaving, going, whatever.
Yep.
Like, I would love to see the video of that. Anyway, this is a story you threw in a couple weeks ago and I completely missed, and it's fantastic. So, some Army soldiers, 2 of them, had been, picking up brass, as soldiers have to do after a live fire exercise happens. This happened at Fort Drum, New York. These 2 guys hauled off all this brass, $45,000 worth, 29,000 pounds of spent cases. 29,000 pounds were hauled off. And a salvage yard recycler agreed to pay $45,000 for all this. Well, guess what? Now they're paying $45,000 back to the federal government because the soldiers did not have the right to sell the brass. So not only are those guys in trouble, obviously, but the auto and salvage company is also in trouble because they didn't bother to check. Hey, are you actually allowed to sell all this brass? Seems like kind of a lot.
Yep. It literally says North Star did not make any effort to verify whether the individuals were authorized.
And normally, as those of us who have bought lots of once fired military brass know, it usually comes from some central auction house, and then people who sell brass wherever buy it from there in giant quantities, divvied up in smaller packages, and then I end up buying it someday. And that's how it usually goes. I have looked on like those auction websites though, where you can buy like a Humvee for $8,000, or you can buy a barrel of brass, and it's pretty cheap if you're going to buy it. The problem is the shipping sucks. You got to have like a dock you have to ship it to a dock, which I mean a person can do if they want to, but we had to do that with Steel Target paint when they sponsored Great Plains a few years back. So actually, I had to learn all about that. I didn't know anything about it.
We had to do that for a bullet order one time. From before blue bullets shipped individually to houses, it was shipped to one person, and it was their job to hand it out. And luckily, we had someone who had a dock, but it was like 50,000 pounds of lead.
Whoa, that's so much. So let that be a lesson to you kids. If you sign up to join the Army or the Marine Corps or whatever, don't sell the brass. Or at least do it in much smaller quantities.
Yes. Take it to your friends and sell them like, hey, I've got 300
direct.
Brass to you. Here you go.
Sell it on the dark web or the black market, whatever you want to call it.
It's always when you do it in like massive bulk that people are like, hey, wait a second.
Which, if they had to pick up 29,000 pounds worth of brass, like, I understand. Like,
these are probably like sergeants that were like watching their privates pick up brass. They're like, hey, put it in this bucket for me.
They probably didn't do it. Yeah. I mean, neither of us were in the military. We have no fucking idea, but I would bet it because shit does roll downhill. So,
yeah.
for sure. Anyway, if you're gonna pick up a bunch of brass, hell, I was even trying to get the a buddy of mine works for the city here, and the city owns a range, and the Army Guard would use it. So there's all this 5.56 brass, and they're picking. He's got barrels of it. Barrels and barrels of 5.56 brass. They're hauling to a recycler, and I'm like, and I actually did a private class for the recycler they take it to, and I emailed him and said, "Can I just buy that from you, or some of it?" I got no response. So,
you hate it. You hate to see the waste.
I know. It's just gonna get turned into copper, whatever. Anyway, so on the way back from the Black Hills, we were out there for a little family vacation over the 4th of July weekend. And when I'm on the way home, my phone rings, which it was wonderful. My phone actually my phone rang kind of a lot, but I ignored them all because there were people not in my phone. But I got a phone call from Todd Weitzel. I'm like, what the hell is Todd calling me for? Both our matches are over. I don't understand. And I answer the phone, and a well-lubed Todd is on the phone. And he just started talking crazy. The thing I gotta say about Todd, though, is when he's hammered, he talks well. He was not slurring his speech all that much that I thought.
By the time I left, he was slurring his speech a bit more. But
so he's just lubed. He wasn't
right. Todd almost he took his filter off, and it made him sound more pretentious because Todd's smart as shit, and he can sound super smart, and he has to bring it down to where the rest of us can understand because he likes to use $25 words when a $2 word will work.
I love $10 words.
He loves them as well. But he was like, Michelle, get my phone. And we're in the pool, and it's super warm, and it's super comfy. And I'm like, this is awesome. And he's like, get my phone. I'm like, why? And he's like, we're calling Andy. And I'm like, why?
Because he's getting Jeff all drunk before we record the podcast, and also causing us to record late tonight.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
Yeah. How lubed are you?
I'm I could get spicy if you allowed it.
You seem. Nah. We've been really hammered on this podcast before, and you are nowhere near that.
Right, but that is the episode we shall not talk about.
Yeah,
that never even got re-listened to.
No, I didn't even want to listen to it. I'm like, that is gonna be such a disaster. I don't even want to hear it. I don't know. I may have deleted the file. I deleted a bunch of old files because they're huge off clean feed. They're all WAV files, so they're all 3/4 of a gig each. So I deleted a bunch of those. Hopefully, I deleted that one. Yeah, apparently, I deleted our backup episodes for when all of a sudden, oh shit, we can't record this week. I deleted those. We're gonna have to do those.
We'll talk about hunting one of these days and how I know nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So, but it was a match day down there in Omaha, somewhere in Middle America.
Yes, hell yeah, brother. And it was beautiful.
What was the weather like this morning? Because it was cold as shit in the Black Hills this weekend. It was
I want to say my phone said it was 62 or 64 when I got there, but I was in my short shorts and I wasn't even cold. So it was comfy, and by the end of the day I was warm, but I wasn't uncomfortable.
Looks like it got up to around 82 today. I'm just looking at the and it was in the mid 60s in the morning, and
luckily we were done by 1, so it was a nice it was probably 78, 80 degrees, and it was a beautiful day for a match. Not too much wind. The sun was out just enough to be nice. It was a great day. Well, my shooting didn't.
It was a great day. Are you Irish all of a sudden? It was a great day.
It was a great day, but my shooting and the day did not line up as well as I would hope they would.
No, it didn't look that way. I looked at the results, and you
shit the bed.
Yeah, I mean, you were still overall 6th or 7th, something like that. What was it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was. I lost to people I don't like to lose to.
I saw that right away. That was the first thing I noticed.
I was like, all right, commit Sudoku. We're doing
commit Sudoku.
I figured Lane would gladly be my second. Those of you who understand Japanese history understand that joke.
I don't understand the joke as you're saying it. I think it's funny because my daughter and my mom love to play Sudoku, and
Yes.
and the juxtaposition with Harry Carey is that made me laugh. That was funny as hell. Jokes only get better when you explain them. By the way, folks.
Correct.
Okay.
110%.
So you got 8th overall, shitting the bed, but that was still good enough for 3rd enhanced optics because, well, we can't be shooting optics divisions anymore. We might as well all shoot production or limited now because carry optics Nats is over.
Pretty much. My buddy Lane, who would stomp everybody's dick in normally, he texted me. He goes, "Bring your irons gun," and I was like, "Okay, whatever. I don't care." And so he took the slide off of my irons gun and put it on his slide, and for 5 of the 6 stages, worked brilliantly, and he shot like a motherfucker. It was beautiful to watch. On that other stage. We don't want to talk about that.
What
stage.
happened? Did the front sight fall off?
According to him, the extractor stopped extracting, but then that was our second to last stage, and on the last stage, it worked fine. So I'm going to guess that it was ammo issues because
I was going there too. Yeah,
right.
Because extractor issues don't magically go away.
Right, but he went through every mag on his belt, like having issues, and I was like, bro, he's going to blame my gun, which I shoot my iron sight gun twice a year, maybe. And so, but yeah, and then we had several of our higher level shooters shooting production optics, which, I mean, just come to enhanced optics. You had 1 extra reload on 2 stages, but we had a flavor for the day. And it was single, long rectangular boxes was the shooting area from left to right.
Oh,
We had 4 stages with that out of 6.
that's the thing that happens at club matches when different people design all the stages.
It is somehow, without talking to each other, they all come to the same conclusion.
Osmosis happens, and they just sort of naturally, it's just in the ether, and everybody does the same thing.
Exactly. And to your point, since CO Nats happened, there's literally no reason to shoot carry optics anymore. Because for some reason our most popular division has its nationals at the beginning of the season. Sorry, the early middle of the season. Now, if you're a CO shooter,
if it happens in June, it's in the beginning of the season.
Correct.
We live in the north. It's the beginning of the season still.
Yes. Screw all you Southern people.
It snows in May in my state. Okay.
Yep.
Or it can happen.
I've shot in a blizzard in April.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Lane specifically was like, I've shot my nationals. I have no reason to train for the rest of the year. And I'm like,
except for all those people who are training for next year.
True, but he could definitely take 4 months off and then start that training cycle again. And you're like, that would, eliminate the major shooting season. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's stupid, especially because I believe I saw a stat that said that the other nationals, because we can't switch the two, is 67% limited optics.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like there's a theme. Mm-hmm. Anyways, but
I would like them to put. I would love for those 2 divisions to be put together.
Correct, and be at the end of the year, and the other one be at the beginning of the year, so you can be like, "Hey, I want to get warmed up shooting a fun division. We're having a good time."
And here's just as Area 3 director hat on now. There's so many people who are just sort of already married to those 2 divisions the way they are. They don't really want them to change, and I get that. I think the biggest error was them not being distinct from the get-go. That's fine. I think the ship has sailed. I don't know what's going to become of enhanced optics or carry optics at the end of the next, whatever trial year.
Yep.
But here's the thing I dislike even more than that, and that is that we're catering to anybody who wants to shoot their optic non-open gun, and they're in 2 completely different matches. No. You're going to pick one or the other.
Yep.
You either got a magwell or you don't.
Yep.
The rest of it doesn't matter.
Right. 100%. And it should be at the end of the year. But yeah,
the highest level you can attain with a handgun is a double stack 1911, Jeff. Nothing else compares.
if you can get them to run.
As long as they're running, nothing compares to the pinnacle of a double stack 1911.
It's called a Shadow 2.
Excuse me while I rub one out.
Okay. Exactly. 100%. But, so yes, going back to the match I shot, one of the things that like pissed me off, because everything pisses me off. I'm an angry person.
You'll grow out of that someday.
I'm okay with it.
No,
at this point.
you mellow with age. You do. It happens.
I am mellowing. If I make it to old age, I'm going to talk some shit to somebody and be like, all right, we're doing this. But we had two stages that were the exact same thing. That was annoying, but fine. We had a part-time stage at a local.
How many rounds?
16 with a 9-second par. So for the tryhards, it became a game of can you control yourself to get to the end? Because if you were A class or above, you made it the whole way through. But if you were a C or D class shooter, you got to shoot 3 targets, and then you got to hear beep. Oh, you fired 7 rounds.
Oh, really? It was that bad?
Yes. If you if you do a part-time stage sometime, C class shooters will their draw. So it was a 9-second par. Their draw is between 2 and 3 seconds. Their splits are half second.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't take long to eat that time up, and so
there was 1-0 in the match.
Yep.
On that stage, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you have a malfunction.
If you have a PCC and it dies. Sorry, RJ. You had a bad time on that stage.
Correct.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But at least there are no penalty mics.
Exactly. So that was an interesting addition. Don loves to add whatever he RO'd at nationals or whatever to the match, and you're like, I don't know that our local needed a like. I love pro-am. I love part-time stages.
I think it's fine once in a while. It's no big deal.
Right. Well, we didn't. So let's see when you tap out of the complication. So we had a stage on our bay 2. So start position, hands on thighs.
Okay.
Gun loaded. So that's
Wait,
fine.
where does my thigh end?
Right. And what is thigh? Can it be on my hamstrings? Is that still part of my thigh?
No, that's not your thigh. That's your hamstring. But your thigh goes from like just above your knee to like somewhere
crotch level,
somewhere near my belt. I mean,
right.
Like some of those bands of muscle are still coming up, you know, into like that hip flexor area.
Exactly.
You know?
100%.
So,
and so make sure you're standing outside the shooting area. And then once you get into the shoot,
is it both feet outside the shooting area?
It was entirely outside the shooting area.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to clarify.
So, and imagine there's an array of 4 targets on your left. There's a no-shoot in between 3 of them. Those 3, you shoot 2 rounds only. The open paper not associated with those ones, 3 rounds. And then you do the same thing on the other side. And then in the middle, you at 20 yards, you have, imagine a credit card's size gap between 2 no-shoots to hit the alpha on a target. Would you think that was reasonable for, guys shooting their first match ever?
I don't know. Was it 20 yards?
Yes.
See, like that kind of target is just dumb anytime.
I would like. I wouldn't put that target at nationals.
I don't think that. I like making targets hard by putting them farther away if possible.
Right.
And like some of the hearing about nationals on various podcasts, it sounds like they just hard covered and no shooted up shit to make it hard instead of just putting it farther away.
I mean,
I don't know.
the 30-yard IPSIGs with no shoots on them were pretty impressively bad. Like,
Yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, it's nationals. That's a tough target. It's fine to have some of those. I don't
Right,
know if there was too many at nationals. I don't mean to shit on something I didn't even see, but
right, but like at nationals, that's a reasonable challenge for.
Yeah.
Eric Raffel did it without a penalty.
He shot nothing worse than a Charlie at it. Yeah.
Right. So apparently it wasn't that hard. It wasn't impossible. So I just think at a local, we need to learn to set our challenge to the audience we're presenting it to.
Yeah.
And like we had 7 new shooters at our match today. And it's awesome. It's great. It's awesome. They walked away with no shoots out the asshole.
Yeah.
because of and some of them were like, yeah, it was a 7-yard like no shoot partial. Okay, that happens. But like, I mean, that one of the dudes took 2 no shoots to Mike because it was like, to put it in perspective for people who aren't picturing it, take your standard tuxedo that covers the A zone, cut that in half.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level of challenge, and now make those not Mike's, make them no shoots. So one dude took, what was it, negative 70 points off of 2 shots. Like, that's a great way to introduce you to the sport, bud.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't disagree that's too hard of a target, but at the same time, I don't think there should never be hard targets at club matches.
I think it has to depend on the audience you're dealing with, because so what originally started this idea was I shot a match in Wyoming, and I enjoyed the match as a masterclass shooter. I enjoyed the match.
Because it was hosey and easy for you.
For me, it was fine. It wasn't hosey, but it was fine.
Okay.
But they had, I think it was 8 new people, and match directors, if you have experienced people in other squads, share the burden. It helps you. It does. But this match director decided, hey, I'm going to keep all the people in my squad. They were so slow.
Oh, yeah. No, you got to split all the new people up. You can't have them all in one squad.
Right.
If there's that many.
Right. And the challenges were so tough. We finished 3 stages before they were done with 1.
Wow.
And I was like, and because he put the mini targets from area 3. I forget what bay it was, like bay 6 or something like that. Like
the half size USPSA targets.
Yeah, the half size USPSA targets. He put those at about 10 yards. He put 4 of them, and he's like, "Yeah, we had people go to war on those." And you're like, "Dude, you had 10 new people sign up, and your first thought was, you know what I'm going to do? Put
up half size targets.
Half size targets at 10 yards, dude.
Which makes them 20-yard targets.
Right. This should have been like, oh, we need to put like up close, like burner stages to get these people introduced. And it's like, nope. And I'm just like, I get the difficulty. Sometimes, like my club, you don't know. Like we had 4 newbies in our one, but 2 of them were new to us, but one was a B-class shooter from California, and the other one had shot a match before and he wasn't bad, but the other 2, it was like their first match ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you don't know if you're like, oh, like when I signed up, one of the guys came up at Wyoming and was like, "Are you the master class shooter?" And I go, "Yeah, I am." Because like when
you're
at
the magician wizard guy,
right? Because when you're in a local club that's never seen anything above a B class shooter, an M class shooter showing up is like a god. And as an M class shooter that shoots with super squad level GMs, I'm like, yeah, I'm just a scrub like you. We're just different levels of scrub.
Well, I remember like we only had an A class shooter at our club for the longest time. That was John.
Yeah,
an A class production shooter, and he was definitely the stud. And that was even A class before it was hard, you know.
Right.
That was pre 2017 A class, and
yeah,
he has since made master and still is. But no, it's if you go to a smaller club like that where they don't have anybody who's made that level, yeah, that could be definitely a thing. Well, What was wrong with your shooting, just individually?
I couldn't hit positions like I meant. I was out. I was trying to shoot
Your
faster.
mental game sucks. Got it. Okay.
Man, I visualized the stage, and I was going to say I visualized the shit out of it because I visualized it once, which for me is visualizing the shit out of the stage. But like, yeah, I was hitting positions, and like the bullets weren't going where I meant them to, and I lost to people I don't like losing to, and it made me a sad panda. But I did get the love. One of my buddy Jay, who was RO'd 2 majors and not shot a match this year, finally shot a match, and he goes, "I'm shooting my P10 for the first time. This thing's fun." And he's like, "The website says it's a 5-pound trigger. Mine's a 3-pound trigger. I don't know why." And he let me play with it in the safety table after the match. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if he said he was about to order the Apex or he'd already ordered an Apex trigger." I go, "This is an Apex trigger, you idiot." And he goes, oh, I must have drunkenly ordered that and installed it. And I'm like, "God damn it, Jay, I love you."
It's a 3-pound trigger, and I don't know why. Oh, God. That's amazing. Oh, I wish I would have done that. Like, find what? I have a Shadow too?
Right.
When did I buy that?
He's like, "Oh, this gauge isn't always accurate. It's probably not right." And I was like, "Dude, this is a 3-pound trigger because it's an Apex trigger shoe, you fucking idiot."
Oh, God. I came home with vacation with a lot more money than I thought I was going to. And now I'm like, okay. Like,
Shadow 2.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm thinking about. Like, I still kind of want to get I want a TS2. But either way, I'm going to send it off to get cut. I'm not going to dick around with the pre-cut Shadow 2.
Nope.
Because, like, in the long run, it's honestly, it's cheaper if I just send it to Vince and get it cut.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, yeah, Shadow 2s were selling for like $800, and the
they're not that cheap.
Like,
you're one of those people that always like understates what guns go for. Like, I haven't seen one that cheap in forever. I don't think I've ever seen one like maybe $899. That was a thing I did see once upon a time. I haven't seen anything cheaper than $1,000 lately, though.
Okay, well, but the optics ready ones are like $1,400. So
yeah, they're way more. I'm not buying that.
Send it to Vince for $189 or $100. Whatever Vince
like,
charges.
It wasn't that. It's not that much. It's like $135 or $150, something like that.
Okay,
but
yeah.
They're really good. I know because I have one on a tax sport. But I don't want to mess with dinking with the trigger. That's why I'm more drawn to the TS2, just because the trigger's already really good. You know.
Oh, for sure.
I don't really. And if I'm going to shoot metal gun, like I might as well just shoot limited optics. You know.
Well, and if we're shooting hit factor rules, we're already competing in the same division.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me is tempted to get a Shadow 2 just because I hate dealing with a safety. You know?
Yeah.
And then, like, okay, I'll have one of each, and they can be... Well, obviously, I couldn't shoot the TSO in carry optics, but I could do the vice versa, so...
Yep.
And plus, like, you know, I've fought the trend long enough. Maybe it's time... You know, the gun's only been out for 8 years. You know, maybe it's time I finally get on the bandwagon. You know, one of the greatest movies that was ever made. I mean, I don't know if it's one of the greatest ever, but it's a great movie. Forrest Gump is a great movie, right?
Right.
That came out like my senior year of high school.
Okay.
When or the summer before my senior year of high school, everybody's talking about Forrest Gump. What an awesome movie it was. And when everybody loves something, like I automatically want to not do it or be a part of it.
I feel that. Yeah.
But I usually end up caving in eventually along the way somewhere. And now I'm kind of, I came back with $600 I didn't think I was going to come back with from the Black Hills. So anyway,
nice.
Speaking of that trip to the Black Hills. So we spent most of the time in the northern Black Hills. We stayed near Deadwood. We got a VRBO, Verbo, whatever, however you like to call that website.
Yep.
In a little cabin. And it was not far from Deadwood, so we were able to run into town and like do stuff there. And you know, we did the Black Hills stuff. Which, if you've never been to the Black Hills of South Dakota, it's a wonderful place. We went nowhere near Mount Rushmore because we've been there, done that, didn't care. But we're hanging out downtown Deadwood. They do this cool thing. So, Wild Bill Hickok, the outlaw was killed in Deadwood back in 1876 in the saloon number 10, was murdered by Jack McCall. Well, they have this play there called The Trial of Jack McCall, and they have a shootout on Main Street. And, simulating like part of the drama of it or whatever. They've got these actors that have real live, single action old school pistols. I can't remember what he said they were, loaded up with blanks, and they're loud. My son shit his pants when they fired the first shot. He's like, oh my God, that was loud. He was thinking it was be like a cap gun or something. And it was like, boom, like full on black powder. And so it's a really cool thing they do in Deadwood. While I'm there, they had the famous country band Black Hawk was performing a free show. And while they were there, and it was open container weekend in Deadwood, every now and then they have open container weekends. As long as you pay the $3 tax of buying the special cup, you can walk around with an open container, which is kind of fun. It's a wonderful place in the summer. It really is. It's so great, and more on the new range out there too, coming soon. So there's plenty of Deadwood City cops around. You got this little mini.
You got a
strip.
bunch of idiots walking around with open containers.
Yes. So you got lots of cops walking around. So I went jaywalking a couple of times across Main Street to try and get photos of this very unique pistol that all of the Deadwood cops had this same pistol. And my son saw it, and he's like, Dad, my 11-year-old, he's like, I think they're carrying 1911s. He saw them earlier in the day. I'm like, what? No way. There's no way they're carrying 1911s. No way. And then from a distance, I saw the gun, and I'm like, is that a 1911? Now, I sent you the pictures, and you can tell clearly it's not a 1911.
Well, there was a part of me that thought that it was like from the base pad that I saw that it was like a 2011.
Yeah, I never got a good side view photo because I'm taking pictures of cops' guns and I didn't want to be that guy,
Right. Hey, officer, could you move your arm so I could take a better picture of your gun?
There was one cop later on in the night there was a church doing a rifle for a Henry 20 or it was like a 357 Henry rifle.
Oh yeah,
right on Main Street. It's South Dakota, man. Where everybody's drinking with an open container and walking by the gun raffle. And there was I was so tempted to just go up and go, look, I'm sorry. Look, I'm a gun nerd. I'm a competitive shooter. I'm a handgun instructor. I was not going to say that.
I know more than you.
I've never seen a police officer carry whatever it is that's on your hip. I wanted to go over there, but I did get close enough to actually see it. So what do you think the pistol was based on the photos I was able to send you? And it's on our Reddit, by the way, if you want to go look at the pictures.
I'll be honest, me and Nolan talked about it a little bit, and we both came to the conclusion that it's like a 3rd gen Smith & Wesson, like 10 millimeter.
Oh, that would have been badass, but no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
The only 2 people commented on that post in Reddit, and the other guy was right. It was the stainless P226 Elite Sig Sauer.
What in the hell?
With the wood grips.
Oh, Jesus.
With the wood grips. They're like kind of a cherry red finish.
Yeah, and they're smooth as shit.
But they look awesome.
They do, and the likelihood of a cop needing their gun is very low, and I get it, but I'm like...
Yeah, there's not a lot of... even with all the tourism and, all the stuff that's going on now, I would love to go back during the Sturgis motorcycle rally and see... Sturgis is just 20 miles down a canyon from Deadwood. I would love to know if they're shooting regular old Glocks or regular P226 pistols, with normal grips on them and whatnot, but probably not. I thought it was a nice aesthetic, a town tourism town Deadwood with the Old West heritage. I thought it was really cool.
I kind of wish they were carrying revolvers or something silly, because the Texas Rangers carry custom made 1911s with wood grips and stuff, and you're I would expect a Texas Ranger to carry a 1911 with wood grips. That seems correct.
I mean, if they were carrying a Smith & Wesson Model 19, that would be awesome. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that'd be the
100%.
most perfect thing. But at the same time, like, no cop these days wants 6 rounds in their gun.
No.
So-
Oh, of course not.
But I saw that, and I thought it was really cool. It was neat that they were carrying. I've never seen that gun carried by a cop ever. I've seen lots of SIG P226s or 229s, you know, been used a lot in law enforcement, in the military, and our highway patrol, I think, is just close to phasing them out. They're going to Glocks. But, yeah, I mean, you've seen that gun, just not that particular SKU of that gun. But anyway, it was pretty cool. Jeff sent me also, while I was there, actually, I think you sent it while we were on our way out there on Thursday, a video. It was I don't know if you knew this. That video is a couple years old.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think it was from like 2020. I think it was might have been 20. It was either 20 or 21. When the woman in Custer State Park where buffalo roam, like it's a contained, controlled herd, but they are wild.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No,
They're
like,
not ranch buffalo.
Well, even like the reason that buffalo was not domesticated is because they're so violent that no one wanted to go through the effort of dealing with them.
Yeah, and I mean there are buffalo ranches. Like there's one right outside of Sioux Falls, the guy that raises buffalo. But
one of my dad's buddies raises one, and he's like, yeah, they break everything.
Yeah.
And they're aggressive as hell.
cows don't really break shit the same way. So anyway.
Yep.
It's a video of this woman. It was a very famous video. This woman gets de-pantsed by a buffalo because she's like walking up to it and like it had
Trying to pet it.
It had a calf nearby. Like you want to get yourself fucked up really fast. Walk up to a mama buffalo with a calf nearby. Great idea. Well, and the headline or the thing on the video says "Don't pet the fluffy cows." I only bring this up because I was in Deadwood and that T-shirt is in every gift shop everywhere. Don't pet the fluffy cows. Don't pet the fluffy cows. And there's a big picture of a buffalo on it or a bison, whatever you want to call them. Another thing from our trip out there, when we got there on Thursday, I met Brucey for lunch.
Hell yeah.
After we went through the Badlands, and then we drove out to the new South Dakota Shooting Sports Complex, which all the berms are done. There's still a lot of work to be done. Like it's very rough and raw, but all of the lower part, well, all of the dirt has been pretty much pushed for all of the berms that are needed. Oh my God. I've never been to a facility like that.
And you've been to CMP,
Yeah.
the glory that it is.
I mean, their 15 pistol bays aren't. I mean, they're 15 pistol bays. You know, I mean, they're not special. They're
Right.
The one negative I can take away from it is it's so big. A club match is going to be a son of a bitch to do. You know,
Right.
like the bays are all 30 yards wide. Every one of them is 30 yards wide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Every one of them is 30 yards wide or more. I think most of them are 30. The drainage was so well thought out. There's culverts and ditches everywhere. It's going to be kind of like when you go to Iowa and you have to go around that pond.
Yeah.
Except it's going to be like that on almost every bay. You know?
Oh, yeah,
Not that
that's
bad.
actually kind of. Yeah, but it's more annoying than like ENGC where you just kind of like putz around.
Right,
you're like,
right.
Oh,
Or my club, you know, like where the bays are all really close together and very intimate, you know.
Yeah.
This is very different. They're very big. I think the shortest berm I saw was 15 foot. Most of them are in the neighborhood of 20 foot, and those are just the side berms. All the back berms are way taller than that, which you would expect that from like a brand new facility.
Yeah.
You know, back berms are usually the taller ones, and it's just, I mean, yeah, there's only 17 bays, but Jesus, you could put 3 stages in some of these bays, and 2 of them could run concurrently. You know, they're that big. It's
wow.
Oh my God. And like just talking to Bruce, like he's one of the guys that runs the club out there, and he's like, I was like, so if your building's over here, you're never using the bays on that end. He's like, oh God, we won't even know what they look like until there's a big match.
Right.
You know, it's so big. The competition bays have like they didn't build those with parking in mind.
Oh.
That might be a challenge.
Could you Did you do shuttles?
Well, and yeah, like that's going to be kind of there'll be a place to park, but if you're starting like on bay 13 or 14 is like your first stage of the day, like you've got like a half-mile hike.
Oh yeah, you're
so fucking big.
You're gonna need the side by side with
right. And
with
so,
the trailer
like,
benches.
This is a place that's not going to say no UTVs or golf carts. Like it's going to be encouraged. If you have a golf cart or an ATV, like by all means, bring it.
Yeah, because Cameo did that, but everyone wants to shit on the Cameo matches. But like they literally, because it was like 5, 5, and 5 is how they have their range set up, and so yeah, they just had a UTV with a big old trailer with benches in it, and you just threw all your stuff up in there. You fold up your carts, threw them in there, sat in it, and it took you to your next bay. Like it was glorious.
That's really the only negative of that big of a facility is that. But I mean, like I said, there's so much room. There's going to be room for some parking, down in front of the individual bays. It just kind of depends on how they finish it. But no, it's fantastic. The thing that was the funniest was Bruce took us inside the 300-yard 360 bay. This was a request from the Law Enforcement Training Center in our state capital, the police academy, if you will, in our state.
Okay.
I don't know what they think they're going to do with it, but it's what they requested. And since it was a state government project, they did it. But it's literally 300 yards by, I think, 50 yards.
Oh, Jesus.
It's either 50 or 30 wide and 300 long. And the berm all the way around is like 20 feet tall.
Don't want them civilians seeing you train, because we got super secret tactics.
They can practice with like fucking mortars. I don't know what they're gonna do in there, but it's
they're gonna take their Bearcat in there and just practice armored assaults.
They could do some wild shit in there, But as far as like what you could, for a multi-gun match or 2-gun match like that, it's a killer bay for that. But at the same time, though, it's almost like, God, it was almost wasted. Like you could put like another 5 bays in here, and still have this 300-yard range,
Yeah.
It's so cool. They're not super confident about getting to shoot a club match this year because the contractor can pretty much decide, because now they're doing like all the finishing work, like the roads and the buildings and structures and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's, I just, even my wife got out and was looking around like going, wow. And my wife doesn't give a shit about ranges. So now the best part was I got to make a second trip back there. So if you stay in a cabin, like a mile south of Deadwood on 385, and you have to go to the range, like say you get a VRBO where we stayed, and you have to drive to the range, you're staying right outside of Deadwood, party town. Okay, if you're staying there without shooting the match in mind, we were about an hour from the range without any consideration of that. I had to go back there. It took me an hour to drive there because my son thought he dropped his phone at the range when we were looking around. So I drove all the way out there only to have my other son find it in the cup holder inside the Suburban. I was so pissed. I spent 2 hours driving all the way back there because my wife said he's really sad about it because there's a lot of memories, pictures he took in his phone. He's 11, so he's still, fairly sensitive. And so I drove all the way back there, and it was in the vehicle with me the whole damn time. But the battery was dead, so I couldn't find my iPhone. Anyway, the range is awesome. The Black Hills is a fantastic place. Like, whatever the first major that happens there, I'm very confident the word of mouth is gonna spread, and like all the people who have never been to the Black Hills are like, oh, there's shit to do everywhere, like everywhere, and it'll spread like wildfire, and people will just be like, oh wow, let's go there. So the 4th of July just happened.
Yes.
Shifting gears. And Jeff is a history nerd. I'm a history nerd, but not like Jeff. Jeff is the kind of history nerd who shits on history and tells you how incorrect you are. Not that you're incorrect. It's just that he's correct. And then
Correct.
you go to look it up, and you're like, son of a bitch, he's correct again. So, Jeff, if you will, please shit on the wonderful American holiday that is the 4th of July or Independence Day.
Yes, so every one of these is taken from a post by a gun-loving American red-blooded apple pie eating person. And the first one, everyone's like, it was civilians with guns doing shit. No, it wasn't. It absolutely was not. Civilian guns were not that useful. 87% of arms used in the Revolutionary War were supplied by France. Most of our cannons were stolen from the British. Most of our gunpowder was made by either the British, the Belgians, or the French. Like, we relied heavily on external sources for armament. It was not individual ownership of firearms that made that much of a difference. When they were going to Bunker Hill, they were going to seize militia stores, not individual weapons, because they didn't give a shit about your individual weapons. They were going for militia stores. It's a very big difference. On that note,
Okay, but now, just as not so much a counterpoint, because I have no counterpoint, just a counter question.
yes,
Okay, but were they not civilians who were using them?
no. So that's one of those misunderstandings of modern history.
The militia wasn't the militia using them?
The militia was it's not tactards going to the range every Sunday by themselves and their plate carriers. The militia was a standardized unit that had officers that were appointed, and you had days you had to go train together, and it was a semi-organized event. It was not just like, hey everyone, let's get our pitchforks and go. It was like, hey everyone, your job is to show up to this every Saturday and practice, and if you don't show up on Saturday, we're going to fine you for not showing up. It was a step above just a bunch of dudes getting together and being America. It was a bunch of dudes being like, hey, don't take our militia stores. Those are our militia stores.
Okay. What else?
Guerrilla
Shit on my fireworks some more.
Yes. Guerrilla tactics like you see in the Patriot were not as effective as people think that they are. They weren't an I win button. They were effective in very limited and localized environments by very highly skilled commanders, but they didn't win the war because the British were very good at them as well, because they had practiced them as the same amount.
So,
it's called the French and Indian War.
Here's the thing, though, that's so weird about that war, though, is there was that sort of stuff going on, and there was also all right, everyone, line up so they can shoot you while we shoot them.
That is a gross simplification, and there's very, very strict understandings of the tactics and the importance of linear tactics.
I know, but they're still all in a line. Everybody shoots, and then it's a bayonet charge, right?
Sort of. Actually, the most important part of a military was your artillery, and the infantry was just there to move the artillery forward, to do artillery shit.
Okay.
Guerrilla tactics don't help with that. And your individual marksmanship or rifles don't actually help that very much. Your goal is, there are quotes from Napoleonic soldiers who lived 40 years after that, but who said, my job was to move the cannons forward. My life was move the cannons forward. And so the guerrilla tactics were good at annoying convoys and making so they had to have larger security guards, but that was also done by the cavalry, which was way more important. Did you know that we had a cavalry force in the Revolutionary War?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had horses, so I assumed we had a cavalry.
Oh, no, it's crazier than that. It's so much cooler.
Oh, okay.
So the guerrilla tactics we think of, the Patriot, where they're ambushing convoys no, we did it with horses because that's way more efficient.
Because they run faster than a guy.
Yeah. So if you want to read a super interesting book on this, Light Horse Harry Lee, Lee, yes, Robert E. Lee's dad was one of the greatest generals of American history that never gets talked about. And he basically was raiding the British for like 3 years and kept the colonial army supplied with food by robbing everybody. It was the cavalry doing that, not the individual like guerrilla marksmanship. Blah 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 blah. No, it was horses running in, grabbing a cart full of food and running away. that was the guerrilla war. And so yeah, the cavalry and the artillery were way more important than the individual riflemen that has been. I don't know about when you were in school, but when I was in school, like the myth of the individual rifleman was still like a major point.
I don't recall in school them talking about riflemen in and of themselves.
Yeah, and I'm such a nerd that it may have been more than that.
You might be conflating the two.
Right. Well, and again, going back to like the French supply and everything, we forget that the Europeans supplied so many officers. Like going back to the cavalry, there were two Polish officers that died in American service that were the foundation of American cavalry in the war. Like they led charges at major battles and died in them, and we know nothing about them. They're Polish, so their name has so many consonants I can't pronounce them. But like, and I mean, and then there's the Marquis de Lafayette and Baron von Steuben, that they were so important to the war that they were basically adopted by General Washington, and because of their importance. And they trained us in those weird linear warfare that we used to take Yorktown in 1781 or 83. And so like, it's not like, oh, the Americans and their pluckiness. No, it was French officers and German officers teaching us how to do the warfare that the entire world was doing. And one of the not nice side of like the American Revolution was like the southern portion of it was basically quote unquote Americans killing quote unquote Americans. Like it was just a big old civil war in the South. Like it was brutal. And we don't talk about that a lot because, the northern colonies, it tended to be loyalist versus British regular.
Right.
In the South, it tended to be loyalist versus patriot. And so,
it was a more of a civil war,
right? And so,
gotcha. But not North versus South. It was like the intermingled, those who sided with the British versus those who did not.
Right, and like as much as people want to be like, yeah, and as much as people were like, oh, like that must mean like they were super patriotic, and the other side was super like, no, it tended to be like the patriots were the non-landholders that owed money to the loyalists, and they were like, hey, if I join the revolution, I can kill these guys, and then I don't owe them any money,
and maybe I get their land.
Exactly. So it got really dark. Like it's not a pleasant part to study. Yeah. So I feel like our American history has whitewashed that. But one of the last things that like I think is kind of funny is people are like, oh, the militia, like that's the foundation of America. Washington and every other like general in the Continental Army hated the militia. To quote Washington, I am worried to death all day with a variety of perplexing circumstances disturbed at the conduct of the militia, whose behavior and want of discipline has done great injury to the other troops who never had officers except in a few instances worth the bread they eat. He hated the militia.
Well, sure, but like you just got done saying that, oh, the militia weren't that big a deal. But if it's something Washington worried about, like they needed numbers, they needed bodies. They needed warm bodies. Like
they needed bodies, and what he was saying was you couldn't rely on the militia or its officers most of the time. Now there are very famous moments where they were super important and they did a great job, but it wasn't like, oh, we joined the militia, and that beat the British. No, it tended to be continental linear soldiers trained by Baron von Steuben and others that stood toe-to-toe with the British at Saratoga and Yorktown and other major battles. Like, the militia was a secondary force used to protect the baggage, and they were not reliable.
Let me ask you one quick question before we move on. Okay. Have we ever fought on the same side as the Germans? Because the Hessians, the German soldiers hired by the British, they were fighting on their side.
Technically, in the 7-Year War, we were on the same side as the Prussians.
Okay.
1812, Spanish American, Civil.
I mean, until like modern times, was Germany involved in GWOT at all, other than being a NATO country?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were involved in GWOT, and they use. It was the first time since 1945 that German Panzer Grenadiers were used in an assault on a Taliban position. Yeah, they were in the GWOT. It took 247 years, but yes, they were on our side once.
We finally fought on the same side as the Germans. Okay, interesting. Well, thank you for shitting on everything I thought I knew about history, Jeff.
Yeah.
I say that in a silly way, but like I actually enjoy it because I like learning new shit. And whenever Jeff says something that's completely counter to something I thought I knew, I'm like, what? And then I go look it up, and I want to throw it in his face, and then I find out he's right, and I'm like, fuck. He was right again.
Because autism. Burn, burn, burn.
Yeah. All right. Reddit. You posted a thing in advance, well in advance of the show. Hey, stuff to talk about this week. I don't think we're going to get to all this stuff, but there's some of it I really want to get to. The first thing was it wasn't the first thing on the thread, but it was the first thing I want to talk about. And Owen had posted the strangest thing you've heard a competitor say. Well, I have a list of the top 10 strangest things I have heard a competitor say.
Yay.
Okay. Number 10. That's going to save me 2 steps. I'm going to change my plan to that.
Oh, I hate those people.
Number 9. Can I get an overlay? It was asked for on a staple hole. Number 8. I put heavier springs in my match guns so I don't get training scars. I heard that one time. I don't remember when. It was like 5-6 years ago. I laughed so fucking hard. It was at a club match. Number 7. I got so much better switching to a 2011. The guy in question still sucked.
He got better at maintenance.
Yeah, I got better with tinkering my gun. Number 6. Yeah, this was after the Make Ready at Area 3 last year. A guy in a NASCAR jersey said to me, "Can I load my gun?"
Jesus!
Yeah. I'm like, yeah? I just said make ready. I know. I just want to make sure. Okay. Number 5. I won't shoot hollow sun / Chinese dots while Googling SRO prices on a Chinese-made iPhone.
They're all Chinese dots. Dun, dun, dun.
That one's for my friend Dan. He was the one who said that. He knows who he is. Number 4. 125 grain bullets are so much better than 115s. I'm pretty sure I could not tell the difference if I shot some. I'm actually about to load up 2,000 115 grain pulled projectiles from a website I'm never going to mention on the air because I don't want anybody else to know about this website.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert, for telling me about it. Number 3. Can I go pee in the corner of the bay?
You inspect the berm.
You're just inspecting the berm. Or I actually said, no, we have a porta potty right over around the corner there. Like, this was literally at a match at my club. He was new. Now, normally, if there's not a match going on, like, hell yeah, I'm peeing in the bay. Like, I'm never far from a porta potty at the range. Although, when we get the cameras up in the individual bays, it's going to suck. But
just flip them off mid-pee. Yeah. Assert dominance.
But, like, I mean, those cameras are, like, they're accessible on the internet. They're not on the internet, but they're accessible. Anyway. Number 2. I can have 1 foot in the shooting area because the start position doesn't say both feet outside the shooting area.
I hate those people.
Somebody was ready to have this giant argument with me, and they were talking to me like they were already pissed off, and I was like, yeah. And the look on their face was like, it looked like a computer melting down when it won't function. It was like, I was supposed to have an argument, and I'm not having an argument. Like, he just agreed with me after I got all mad.
Hamster has fallen off of wheel, unsure of how to continue.
And number 1, I trained to a different level. I didn't hear that. Jeff heard that, and I made that my number 1. So there you go. The top 10 strangest things I've heard said by a competitor. I'm sure there's weirder out there, but anyway, more stuff from the Reddit. Let's see. I'll scroll back up to the top here. Last episode, you touched on the hundo. How important is it to case gauge your ammo for matches? Well, if you want to make sure your shit goes off, I would do it. I've had a rash of ammo that did not have new primers. It still had old primers despite getting the powder and a bullet and a crimp. So that's the main thing, is just it helps you inspect that.
It is the last check. I had the legendary. Mine wasn't putting primers into the thing because the primer system had jammed, but it didn't stop the press from running. And it's a good last check, especially if it's 300 rounds or 400 rounds, and if you're reloading 1,000 at a time, maybe. So have a practice bucket and have a match bucket.
I basically just chrono the ammo I'm taking to a match. I don't chrono everything in one bucket and none of what's in the other. I chrono only what I'm taking to a match I care about. What did I say?
You said chrono.
Oh, no, not chrono. I meant case gauge, yeah. Like, I case gauged the ammo I took to Cornhusker. I case gauged... Actually, I did not case gauge ammo for Great Plains, but I didn't care.
Well, and figuring out, like, what is a reasonable... Because, like, I've reloaded, like, 5,000, 10,000 rounds without checking anything, and things were mainly fine. My buddy Lane did not check this stuff, and at Nationals, he went 121 power factor for 3 rounds, 124 power factor for the next 3 rounds, and then the 7th round where they're like, whatever this one's power factor is your power factor. That one was 132 power factor. So... check before you go to major matches. But my system was, if it was practice ammo, I didn't care. Like, I wasn't going to. I that one got put in a bucket, and then the match ammo got put in a different bucket. And the match ammo, yes, that one got the hundo gauge or plunk tested. But like my buddy Nolan, he cranks 20 rounds out and then grabs the 20th round and is like, yep, that one's fine. And then goes another 20 rounds, goes, yep, that one's fine. And just keeps doing that over and over again because he's like, yeah, if the system breaks, I'll catch it within 20 rounds. So
I do it mainly for... I don't have issues getting my stuff to chamber. That's rarely the issue because the hundo case gauge, honestly, it's kind of annoying because my ammo is still got like gunk on it from the case lube. Like I use the Hornady case lube.
Yeah.
And so, like, over time, because I'm not cleaning my case gauge. Like, that's annoying. But, like, I'll have a bunch that don't fit, but if I take a brush and clean it out, then they fit fine. Mostly, I do it to examine primers. That's 90% of why I do the hundo is to examine all the primers. And then I find the ones that really don't fit, and then those are kind of questionable. But, like, when I was shooting Glocks, it didn't matter. Like, a Glock will eat everything pretty much,
and I did the same thing where, so what I would do is I put 100 in the hundo, and anyone that was sticking up and wasn't flush fit, but the primer was good, I threw it in the practice, the marked practice bucket.
Yep.
And I just kept throwing them in there, I finally took that practice bucket out when it was full, shot every single one of them. I think I had 2 malfunctions throughout the entire can.
Right, yeah.
And it was like, oh, this was not necessary.
You'll get away with it a long time until you don't. Like, for whatever reason... I don't know if the spring's wearing out in my decapping die, but like I'm getting a lot of not removed primers lately, and for some reason I'm not noticing the new one not going in. And so, I mean, that's if it's a match you care about, yes. If it's club matches you don't care that much, but I hate going to club matches and having my stuff not work either. So the question also continued. I've never used one, but do you use the Lee factory crimp dry? Factory crimp die? Yes, that's my crimp die, and I like it.
I use whatever came on the Dillon, and I over crimp my stuff to the point where I was shooting 143 power factor for like 3 years.
Yeah, because crimp will increase power factor, or it will increase pressure and then increase velocity.
It holds the bullet a little bit more, and I actually found I got one of the bullets when they take them out for chrono, and there's a ring from where the brass had like,
and that's too much,
right? But I never worried about chrono.
No, but like my crimp shooting Glocks was fine, and then when I shot the exact same ammo in a Beretta, it didn't make power factor, or it was
that's
very
interesting.
close. And I think it's just because that gun unlocks so much quicker.
Oh yeah.
And so if the crimp isn't tighter, and I just tightened I accidentally figured out the crimp was the problem, and was like, oh, I didn't, because I tried increasing powder and it didn't help.
Yep.
So
That
was kind of interesting.
Check it in all the guns, because like Shadow 2s are known for having very narrow throats, and like
Yep.
I've had
You
dudes
gotta shorten them up a little.
You gotta shorten them up a bit, and like I've had dudes that shot Shadow 2s who bring ammo that doesn't work in like my Shadow 2s, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like my shit works. That's why I went to 135 truncated. I don't know. Anyways,
Well, the truncated bullets are truncated so they don't get caught in the throat.
yep.
So like they're narrower at the tip, like the round, and even the current blue bullets, round nose bullets, are closer to a truncated tip than the old round nose. They changed the profile on them. So, okay, another question. We've kind of talked about switching guns already. Bully Jeff into shooting free state. I don't care if he gets heat stroke. That was from Steven.
Hey, screw you, Steven. I'm. There's literally no way you can convince me to shoot free state, because I have gotten heat stroke 3 years in a row there, and it is.
Hey, it's in late August. It could be cool.
Yeah,
it was the
late
4th of
August.
July. It was in the 70s all weekend in South Dakota.
Right, because
But that's
late
Kansas.
August is known for its cool weather.
I suppose.
But I've dealt with 118 heat index there, and driven, and it's a 3-hour drive home, and I shouldn't have made that drive home.
Yeah.
Like it's bad.
Nouns and verbs. People talk about the mental game. What does that really mean?
There's different aspects to it.
Well, give your version of it. I'll give my version of it.
So one of the parts of the mental game is your ability to deal with the stress of the people around you and the stress of the match itself. So if you're at a local match with your buddies, you might get a little stressed because you're shooting in front of your buddies. But if you're like, hey, I'm better than everyone here, fuck it. It's whatever. Like, I run into that when I shoot at like the Alliance match or the Wyoming match. I'm like, I'm the only M class person here. Everyone else is B class. Like, or I think Brucey was A class. Like, I'll be fine. But when I'm shooting with like the super squad, I'm like, oh shit, like I need to step my game up. And that can be a negative effect. And some people like get true anxiety before they shoot a stage. Like they get like actually like, oh my God, like what happens if I mess up this stage or blah, 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 blah. I don't deal with that one particularly.
No, I don't either. I mean,
some
I'll have
people
nerves.
do.
I'll have some nerves before the first stage of a major. Just
Yep.
a little bit. Not like I used to get in high school before a football game. Like I was
Right.
a ball of nerves then, but
And-
I'll just have a little, ever so mild butterfly.
And I joke with people because they're like, how are you so calm? And I'm like, no one's punching me in the face here. Like I spar my students every Friday. I kicked a dude so hard on Friday I have a dent in my shin. That's not going to happen at a local match.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
My version of mental game is being able to maximize what I'm doing in the stage mentally before I go. The extraneous stuff Jeff was talking about, and I don't mean extraneous like it doesn't matter. It's certainly a part of going to a match, but what I mean by extraneous is it doesn't have a lot directly to do with shooting the match. And I just... as long as I visualize the shit out of stages, my match goes well. If I don't, it doesn't. So
I think I overthink. I think that's what I almost get too in the weeds in my game plan of like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, like, and I'll do this, and I'll just blah, blah, blah. The stages where I go, fuck it, just go do it. I feel like I do better.
I don't. Maybe, but if you're not actually going through that list of things over and over and over again, I did it once and it worked really well.
Right.
And I beat you and Steven in Iowa section.
Right.
And,
we had that confirmation bias.
and it was Yes, but I mean, I recognized what it was. All that shit Steve Anderson talks about. It was like high level of detail in my plan. So like, I would go to the back, I would get away from everybody, and I didn't watch anybody shoot before I shot. I was part of it. And then I would go off, and it wasn't just like, okay, I'm going to go here, shoot those. I'm going to go there, shoot those. It was, okay, draw, run to my first spot, and the first target is there, down and left to the next target, and then a hard left to the third target, exit. Like, it was a higher level of detail. And on the stages where I did that, it was almost like I was on autopilot. It just happened. You know, I wasn't consciously shooting targets. I was just consciously pressing the trigger when the sight was there.
Okay, so that I think that's a level that I am not done, and so I don't even know if my brain would enjoy that.
I think, well, no, I don't enjoy it either. Like, it's not fun, but it's the best way to do it. Like, it's not a good time. There's nothing fun about it. It's tedious and boring, but it leads to good results. That's why I like to do it. You know,
before my next match, I think, which will be in like August, like first weekend of August, I may sit down with you and like go over this so that I'll give it the old college try to see if I can pull out another 5%.
And whether or not it's another 5%, you'll be more consistent. You'll fuck up less.
I could use that.
Yeah, that's also what it does. Is you don't have those like, oh crap things. Now, it doesn't necessarily fix where you point your magazine east and your magwell's pointed south. It doesn't fix that, you know. But
my reloads are just fine.
they went on. This was like one of the funniest interactions on the internet I've ever seen. So, Nouns and Verbs says that, and then there's 3 other questions, which I think we'll talk about a little bit. But is self-talk important? How do you do it? What's your favorite AR optic? And what is the best snack food, and why is it Takis? And then Steven said it's Uncrustables, and by a lot. Nouns and Verbs replied, your favorite AR optic is Uncrustables? And Steven said, clearly talking about mental game. And I laughed so hard in the car on the way home today when I read that. I was like, God damn, that's a funny comment. Okay.
Steven has his moments.
Yeah. Is self-talk important?
Yes.
I think it is. I don't like tell myself I'm great. I say I just avoid being negative about myself.
And that's where I struggle, because like today I was like, are you going to make your grip? Are you going to get your grip? Like,
no, and you should say, I'm going to get my grip.
Right. And
the subtle ways of talking about things in your head is important.
Logically, I know that, but I almost equate shooting more as a confidence game. Like, I know there's a visual game, there's this, but like, I almost think it's a confidence game. Like, I
Any
almost
sport
think
is that.
Right, but
really.
I almost think dot focus shooting is just point shooting with a lot of confidence. The more confidence you have, you're like, yep, that gun is in my fucking hand and we're doing some work right now. Like, I feel like if you walk up, you're like, oh, am I going to make this grip? And like, I screwed my grip up twice today, and it was bad. But like, guess what? I shot 2 alphas on those on both of the targets, and then when I moved, I readjusted my grip and continued doing what I needed to do. It's almost like I have the ability to do that, but like my self-talk wasn't going, dude, we're going to burn this fuck down. It was, are you going to make your grip off this? Like, oh, ruh-roh.
No,
like,
you should not talk to yourself with questions. That's not a good way of doing it, I don't think.
But I have extreme negative self-talk.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a Midwesterner.
Favorite AR optic? I can't speak intelligently to this.
Vortex Spark.
I have a Holosun 510, and I love it. I've never really used any other 1X optic. I have a Vortex PST Gen 2 1-6. I think as far as the LPVO scopes go, that's the best one for the money out there, I think. It's got a daylight bright dot, 1-6, pretty good glass.
You can accomplish 95% of what a person needs to do with an AR with a red dot and maybe a magnifier. And the magnifier is a heavy maybe. And
I don't feel the need for a magnifier. I would rather just like mount a 45-degree 1:6 optic if instead of a magnifier. Like I'd rather have the dot on top and the LPVO on the 45.
You're like I've got my Burris Fast Fire
Yep.
and I've got my $1,200
Yep.
LVVO on the side.
No, I'm not fast fire. I'm gonna have like the big rifle one. You know, I love the 510. The Holosun 510 is fucking great.
I love it when people put them on open guns.
I do too.
I think they look cool as shit.
FYI, if you're gonna do it, it looks even cooler if you take like the aluminum cover off the top. Because then people are like, "What is that?" Because then it doesn't even have the Holosun logo on it anymore. Because that's on the aluminum guard over the top, like the drop guard or whatever it is. A guy from Sioux City has one of those on his open gun, but he took that cover off, and I was like, "What the hell optic is that?" He's like, "Oh, it's a 510. I just took the cover off." Oh, yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's smart. That's a big-ass window. Like, if I could put that on a Glock, that'd be great.
Yep.
What is the best snack food? And it's not Takis, but favorite snack food at matches, Jeff, go.
I'm a basic bitch. I'm gonna go with either trail mix or jerky as my like at a match snack. But I try not to eat very much.
I don't eat much. I'm a big fan of peanuts out of the jar. Basically,
Yes.
whatever you're going to eat is just in a wrapper where you're not touching it with your hands.
Honey roasted cashews, yes.
I think I've mentioned it before. Was at Ben Steger class, and he would just eat peanuts out of the jar like he was drinking from it.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's fucking smart. And so I've been doing that ever since. Great snack, you know.
The goal. So the true answer to this is you need to learn who to squad with. So you need to squad with hunters because they'll bring you meat sticks, and they might be cheese-filled meat sticks, and you're like, these are amazing.
And some might be cheese and jalapenos, like the ones that Nolan gave me. That
right.
Oh God, I felt terrible. He gave me a package of them. I ate like half of them and kind of forgot about them. And I did not.
Bad.
They started growing fur on them, like kind of quick.
Yeah, because he gave me like 2 packs of like normal ones, and I devoured them in a day and a half.
Oh, dude!
Or
local butcher venison sticks are so good.
Right, and so the premier top one, someone who has a grill on their range cart and makes hot dogs. I've fucking seen it.
Really?
Yep. I've seen it twice. One was at a steel challenge. And
I should just
was...
put better wheels on my Traeger and tote that around with me on a generator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And make hot dogs and burgers on the back of your range cart.
Funniest freak out ever witnessed at a match?
I mean, both of ours are quite legendary.
I don't know. Mine wasn't that legendary. I was being a whiny bitch. Yelling at myself.
I've heard of ones, but I've never witnessed them. So
yeah,
because like there's a very famous one of a person at my club who punched the side of a truck and was almost like DQ'd from the sport. My club is legendary.
Yeah, I've never witnessed one. I've been the biggest freak out at any match I've ever been to. So I'm not proud of that. But like when I fuck up a lot and things are going bad and it spirals, I hate myself on a level most people can't understand, and I freak out. Yeah. I haven't really seen anybody else freak out too bad though.
Yeah, I always hear about them, but I never see them.
I've seen some people get really mad, and I'm just like, what a bitch. Meanwhile, it's the most hypocritical thing I could possibly say. You know,
never said I wasn't a hypocrite.
Yeah, no, I'm a giant hypocrite. Andy, as an area director, what's the dumbest shit people have asked you? I haven't really had anything dumb asked of me.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Andy.Erickson@uspsa.org. Go ahead.
All right. I got one for you. USPSA provided like hat umbrellas for ROs at major matches.
What? They did?
No. There was some post that Chick-fil-A Yeah. They have like full on like umbrella's the wrong word for them. They're like sun hoods.
Like a
And they, like,
sombrero?
No. Think like they start at like your upper back and come up over the top of you like a giant like cocoon.
Oh, kind of like a Jedi hood?
Yes, but it was just to keep the sun off of them. I was like,
Dude,
that would be great for ROE.
I love the fishing jerseys or the fishing shirts, like the UV shirts with the hood.
Yep.
As long as they actually breathe, because a lot of them don't. I think I mentioned this last week or the week before. I found some on Amazon that were really good for work, and I kind of want to do jerseys that are that. I know some people don't like them, but I kind of want to make it an option.
I may have gotten a Vortex version of that I need to try out at the range to see, because they have sun shirts, and I'm going to try it out.
Let's see here. Nolan said, what do you think would be a way to get law enforcement more involved in practical shooting sports? Reduced fees, shooting through squatting options, LE-only events, etc. And then Bert said, basically ended the conversation by saying, LE have egos and don't want to get them cheeks clapped by a dude that looks like Steven. And then Steven said, you're welcome for my service. Our Reddit is fun, people. You got to get on it. Reddit.com/r/NASS, NASS.
The more shit talk you can have, the better, because Bert's response to that was, is there anyone on this thread that hasn't beat you at I?
Oh, yeah, I missed that part. Oh, I don't think I'm going to beat him this year, but
no.
Well, if I buy a Shadow 2, I might be able to beat him because, that'll make me better.
I've accepted that there's enough talent at my club pushing the limits that I'm probably going to be relegated to a has-been.
Nick is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah. He is a fucking lovely psychopath, and I love him for every minute of it, but I'm like...
This is what, his second or third year?
Yeah, some bullshit like that. And one of the guys was like, how long have you been shooting? 8 years. I mean, fuck you.
But, I mean, Nick's relatively young. He's thin and quick and fit. I don't know if he's all that fit, but he's way faster than I am on his feet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the body type that is like, yeah, he'll do well in the sport if you practice the shooty part.
Yeah, and he has gotten to the point where he is okay with practicing the shooty part, and he makes great stages, and he's like a nice dude at the same time, and you're like,
yeah,
can you stop being nice? Because I need to hate you like a little bit. Which Steven's easy to hate.
Bert said, how do you get a popper to not fall in training so you don't have to reset it every time? The answer is don't use a popper, use a plate.
False. You use the popper, but what you do, there's two options. You get a tire and you wedge it between the ground and the back of the plate. Well, there's actually three options. Option 2, take a piece of wood and you put it like basically right behind where the plate is, and you angle it to a point where the popper's at like a 45-degree angle forward, so that when the round hits it, there's not enough force to knock it down. Now, this might not work with major power factor, but with minor power factor, it works great with small poppers. And then the if you have mechanical skills, aka you can use a wrench, you can just lock the popper into place.
Depending on the design, yeah.
Right. This is all based off of a hinge design popper.
I just like using static plates, like using a 8-inch plate instead of a mini popper, personally. Those options aren't wrong, but sooner or later the thing falls over on me anyway, because most of ours are hingeless, and I can lean it way over, like back that set screw way out or way in. I can't remember which direction I got to do it, but so it's basically at a 45-degree angle, like you're saying. But it usually it bounces when I shoot it, and then eventually it falls over. So
because yours aren't on the hinge.
It's easier to just grab
specific for hinge.
It's easier to just grab a static plate. Plus, some of our bays have static plates in there already, so I'll just sort of incorporate them. But I can't move them around. So.
The one thing I would say, and I don't normally advocate this, but the smallness and the the level change of a mini popper is I think a important enough to be specific skill to train, because it's a very small point that you have to get to at a different plane than most of your, say, paper targets will be on. So that's the one thing I advocate, because we have a lot of plates, because we have a Steel Challenge club associated with us, but using those plates doesn't feel the same as shooting a small popper.
I don't think it matters, because I think the small popper is more forgiving, because if you pull it low, well, you're still getting the popper, and a mini's still going down. Whereas if you miss an 8-inch plate, like, you miss. So I kind of like the static plates better. I think either is fine, but a static plate, if you have access to them, is simpler. But if you don't, and all you got it to use is a mini popper or a full-size popper, practicing with full-size poppers, the only advantage of those is they're harder to knock down.
Yeah, you aren't training much. Like,
no,
if you're going through the effort of pulling a piece of steel out, make it a mini popper.
Yeah, use a mini. Definitely. I would rather, honestly, reset a mini over and over than use a large one, because it's just not hard enough. I mean, if you're newer to it and you got access, sure, use the big one. If you're struggling with steel, use big ones. Build some confidence, and then go to the minis.
Yep.
That's fine too. Okay. Well, I need to go to bed, Jeff, so we're going to put a bow on this show.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I'm going to finish off my last little glass here of Deadwood Distillery Black Hills Wood Barrel Whiskey that I got.
And while he does
Wild
that,
Bill Hickok on the label.
Right, and as he does that, make sure to get to our Reddit r/NASS to join into the shenanigans and ask us questions directly. We're both very active there. And if you need shirts for your upcoming matches, make sure to check out MW Activewear. Michelle is fantastic. MW Activewear on Instagram is the best way to find her catalog and to find her socials and contact information.
And he's not saying that just because he got drunk in her pool today either.
No, she is one of my best friends. But she's also, her shirts are awesome.
They are.
And also please check out our Patreon,
patreon.com/not another shooting show. Look at you.
You get an extra show a week of our drunken ramblings. They tend to be slightly more controversial than our weekly podcast. So if you want to hear me talk crazy, you're welcome to check it out there.
Usually, because we usually record the Patreon episode after the regular episode.
And I'm 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah, but Jeff was 3 sheets to the wind before he got here, and now it's too late, and I need to go to bed. So we're going to have to record the
I will get 3 sheets to the wind another night.
You'll just have to get started before we record. He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is Not Another Shooting Show.